One night I was watching The Conjuring at home with my little sister when we heard someone putting a key into our front door and opening it. We were sitting in the living room next to a sliding door that was very close to the front door, so we both heard it very clearly. Now this didn't alarm us since we knew our dad had recently gone out to get some stuff, so we just assumed he had returned. "Dad, you're back already?" I casually asked. There was no response. "Dad?" I asked again, thinking that he had not heard me the first time. Again, silence. At this point, I get the feeling that something isn't quite right, and I could tell by the look on my sister's face that she was quite nervous as well. I'll note that up to this point, she had spent the evening rolling her eyes at horror movie cliches, and she very rarely gets scared. We looked at each other for a moment, wondering what we should do before we started hearing a few more scattering sounds from right outside the sliding door. I was frozen in fear by this stage. I tried one more time in a louder but shakier voice. "Dad, is that you? Please respond. Please respond." Repeated in my head, but the silence continued. Now at this point, I'm freaking out, and I literally jumped off the couch. My sister also abruptly gets up and starts rapidly walking towards the other end of the room, which leads to the kitchen area. She later revealed to me that she was planning on grabbing a knife. She had this horrified look on her face that I hadn't seen before. We looked at each other in nervous silence. I didn't really know what to do, and I didn't want to make any further sounds. I finally decided to walk up to the sliding door and began opening it as slowly as possible, peering into the darkness. I know I literally became the idiot who investigates the unknown, creepy noise without anything to protect myself with. When the door was finally opened wide enough, I poked my head out and scanned the corridor, preparing for the worst. To my surprise, there was no one there. But what was more strange was that the front door was still completely shut. We never heard the door close. My sister and I were obviously both extremely relieved, as we were almost certain that there was an intruder in the house. After this, I immediately went to go ask my mom, who was situated in her bedroom at the other end of our house, if it was her or whether she had noticed anything. She told me that she thought my dad had come home as well, as she also heard someone opening the front door. Around half an hour later, which felt like an eternity at the time, as we still quite shaken from the incident, my dad finally arrived home and confirmed that he had not come home earlier. To this day, my sister and I still have no idea what happened that night. My father coming home after almost 3 years of being gone, I was 15 at the time, at home from getting my tonsils removed. I was told my brother-in-law was coming back to bring wood for making something. Then my dad knocked on the door. I opened it, and he looked awful, skin falling off, completely bald, eagle-styled hair, and he had these bloodshot eyes that only said one thing: "I regret everything." He looked practically dead inside. He's an alcoholic. Long story short, I didn't know what to do, so I let him in. He was carrying 2 massive bags, both filled with vomited on, disgustingly unwashed clothes. Have you ever gone a few days without showering and thought to yourself, "I'm disgusting"? Yeah, my dad made it look worse. Hardened vomit all down his shirts, a terrible smell. His socks were beyond crusty, with pieces of skin that had fallen off into his socks. He absolutely stank. We talked for a while. I offered him something to eat since, for all I knew, he was homeless. We hugged it out for a bit. I can remember how his beard felt against my face. Prickly, sharp, ungroomed. Absolutely horrible. He even cried as we hugged. Pathetic. He came looking for sympathy when I had just gotten over my daddy issues. Anyways, we still talked, and he said to me, "Neb, I'm going to call your mom. If I can't stay here, I will die." What the fuck? He said that to my face. A 15-year-old at the time. I can remember just feeling my heart stop. I gave him some privacy to talk to my mom, went upstairs, and just started sobbing. My sister called. She said she was on her way home. He called me down. I went downstairs. He was using mouthwash, hopefully to get rid of the stench of beer. He then decided to try to teach me how to fight. How strange. A 15-year-old fighting an alcoholic father. Once he had taught me how to kick someone's kneecap in and how to cause brain damage, he went outside to smoke. My sister came home, hugged me, and took me to her house, while my mom and dad talked things out. I'm 16 now and it still haunts me sometimes. I still blame myself for what had happened with him, wondering if I could have done something different. John, you pathetic piece of manipulating shit. I hate you for what you did to me and Mom. Fuck you. So when I was 17, I moved in with my boyfriend, future husband, and his mother and younger brother and sister. He and his family are Colombian, and at the time, his mother practiced Santeria. She had a Santeria shrine in her bedroom closet, and her boyfriend would sacrifice small animals in the garage, baby chickens, goats. He even kept a peacock in the backyard one summer to use its colorful feathers in his rituals. At the time, my boyfriend worked until 10 at night and didn't get home until 10:30 to 11. His mother, brother, and sister were usually busy in the evenings with work and school stuff and didn't get home until after dark. So I was left home alone with just my cat most nights. Boyfriend and I had the downstairs bedroom, while his mom and siblings' rooms were upstairs. Every night, I would hear loud footsteps on the ceiling while in the bedroom, coming from his mom's room. I tried ignoring it, but the more I ignored it, the louder they got. After a week of the loud footsteps, the talking and laughing started. Low at first, but then every night it seemed to get louder and louder. I started to get scared and would lock myself and my cat in the bedroom until someone got home. After almost 3 weeks of this, I finally said something to my boyfriend. He believed me and told me it was the spirits his mother communicated with during her Santeria rituals. I told him it freaked me the hell out. He said as long as I stay out of her room, they won't bother me. Wrong. A few nights later, I was alone again and decided to get something to eat. The stairs leading to the second floor started in the kitchen, and when I went into the kitchen, I heard the light patter of feet. I looked over to where the sound came from and saw a small, human-like figure dart up the stairs. I ran to the stairs and saw the flurry of a white dress turn the corner into his mom's room. See, his mother had this African doll that wore a white peasant dress, and she used this doll in her rituals sometimes. Well, seeing that lit a fire under my ass. I grabbed my cat and sat in the spare car in the driveway until someone came home. His mom came home first and asked why I was sitting in the car with the cat. I told her everything, and she got this serious look on her face and asked me if I followed the doll into her room. Hell no. Good, she said. I'll make sure she doesn't leave the room again, and I'll make sure she knows that she's not to harm you. Don't worry. When my boyfriend got home, I told him what happened and that I wanted out of this house. He agreed, and we moved into our own place the following month. We've been married almost 17 years now, and his mother still has that doll. It sits on a rocking chair in her bedroom. Every time I see that doll, I swear it's like its eyes are following me around the room. There was one time where I was home alone with my roommates Kitty and Docko, and it was around midnight. I was in my room right off the living room, and the dog was in her kennel. The cat was roaming like usual. All of a sudden, the dog starts barking like crazy, but I figured she heard my roommates coming home, but I never hears the door open and she was still barking. I decided to go out and at least try to shut her up since we had downstairs neighbors. As soon as I reached the bedroom door, I felt an ominous feeling, like I didn't want to open the door, but the dog wouldn't stop barking and growling, so I cautiously opened the door. When I opened it, I felt this blanket of dread wash over me, and something told me to not look to my right. There was just the coat closet over there, and the stairs leading down to the apartment door over there. Not looking that direction, I just looked at the dog to find she was in a very defensive position, her chest lower to the ground and her fur slightly straight along her spine, and not breaking eye contact to the corner next to that closet I was genuinely afraid to look at. The cat was over to the left, but in a similar defensive position as the dog, fur sticking up, tail in the air, and actually hissing. This cat never hisses. He also wasn't breaking eye contact with that corner. I couldn't calm them down, couldn't stop the barking, but I finally realized I just had to see what they were so freaked out about. I looked at the corner, and it was just an empty corner, but I was terrified of it. I could tell there was something occupying the space, and it didn't feel friendly. I didn't know what to do, but I did the first thing that came to mind. I said, "You aren't welcome here, and you're scaring the animals here. Leave now." A few seconds later, the dog finally stopped barking, and the cat wandered off. I still don't have an explanation, but I'm pretty sure it was a spirit and not a good one.